So I want to talk about how this movie started, where this came to you, Matt. How this, I heard that you grew up in a kind of commune, but not really, and this is sort of where it came from?
Yeah, there are a couple things that are autobiographical in the movie. It's really not ultimately autobiographical. It's more aspirational. I'm a father. I have 2 kids. There was a time in my life, my kids are still pretty young, and I was thinking a lot about my values and what I wanted to pass to my kids. You know, our children are in our homes for such a brief period of time. I mean, I think my daughter's going to be in my house for 5 more years. She's 13, and it just goes by so quickly. And I was thinking a lot about conscious parenting and just being present in the moment and what I wanted to teach them, what I wanted to pass on to them, what was really important to me. You know, and when you have kids, you're responsible for this soul, this being, and from everything from what you allow them to eat or read or watch, just the logistics of some of those things, but on a deeper level, like what do I really care about? What's important to me? Whether you're a religious person or not, what do you want to pass on to your kids? And I had a lot of questions. Ultimately, I had a lot of questions, and so I put them into the form of a movie that I would hope one day would star Viggo Mortensen. And that worked.
Apparently you were hesitant to do the movie at first. Is that true?
Not to do the movie, but it was just a schedule thing. There was 2 movies coming out at that time, which I needed to promote, and I thought I can't really leave them in the lurch. I mean, part of making a movie as a director and actor, you got to prepare it.
Can I interrupt him and say Viggo is very rare among actors who commits to the promotion of a film. You know, in our world where we all have to work to survive, and as it's so difficult to make a living no matter what you do, actors book jobs back to back frequently and aren't available to promote the film. And I'm not blaming them, but he's unique, I think, and certainly rare among actors who commits to helping the film have a life, not just making it, but to selling it. And that's really important because...
Well, it's easy when a movie's as good as this. I mean, I have to say, when I say I didn't doubt the movie, it was just scheduling. And fortunately, Matt waited for me, because when I read the script, I thought, well, this is not only perhaps the best, most well-rounded, layered character that I've read in a long time, if ever, that someone was interested in me for. But just in terms of all the characters, for those of you who haven't seen the movie, I have 6 kids, all of which you saw in the trailer. 6 incredibly smart and you know, physically fit, curious about life. I mean, I just love the script like I like the movie, because in part it's about, it makes it cool to be an intellectually curious kid, a family that's engaged in improving themselves however they can, taking chances too sometimes, and which means making mistakes, improving themselves mentally and physically at all times. And there's real dialogue. As crazy as you might think this family is, I mean, the foundation of this family is not only intellectual curiosity, but it's a constant dialogue, which can be annoying to a kid sometimes. It's like, you know. But then when you grow up, how do you remember your parents? Well, it seemed annoying at the time. They're like, you know, let me see your grades, or what are you reading, or you shouldn't eat that, or what time you coming home, and you know, like that. But now I remember them as they were there, you know. And you know, as a parent, if you were there or not. I think you probably wrote this in part as, well, what would it be like to give 100% of your time and energy to your kids?
It's an example of extreme conscious parenting. You know, I mean, there's the Buddhist concept of mindfulness, or really, you know, it doesn't have to be Buddhist, but just being present. I mean, so many of us in our lives are constantly distracted by our devices. And I mean, I use a computer, I have an iPhone, I love them both, but they also pull me sometimes into a virtual world when really what I need to do is be talking to another person. And as a parent, you struggle with that. Any parent knows that. I mean, the truth is, we've all been hanging out with a friend, and you're in a car, and the phone rings, and they're like, I gotta take this. And you know, they're on their phone, and you're sitting there waiting for them to be done, and that's part of our lives. But when you have kids, there's an impact of that. And you know, you can extrapolate that idea in a deeper level, and just, you know, trying to be present and being with them when you're with them.
You can either take the easy way out, which is, well, I just want to be friends with my kids. I want them to like me and maybe to think I'm cool. So yeah, you know, I'll farm them out to their iPhones or their tablets or whatever, and they can come and go as they please, eat whatever they want. And that's one way. And at the time, the kids are like, Dad's great. I can do whatever I want. Or the other model, which you're engaged in the way, in an extreme way. The father I play in this story is, you know, he's not the kind of dad who says no because I said so. He's the kind of dad who says maybe not, and I'll explain why. And then if you disagree, I'd like to hear your opinion. That second model takes a lot more energy and time, but it's worth it. In the end, those kids will grow up, and as young people, they'll look back and go, yeah, I thought my parents were a pain in the ass, but now I see that they were there.
I think the wonderful thing that he's doing with this family is maybe it's in isolation and there needs to be some moderation, which we see.
Yeah, you can make mistakes, you know, but he's trying. He's there.
He's teaching critical thinking.
Exactly.
You see examples of that, and I mean, you know, if we take one topic, religion, for instance, I mean, I think that he's a father who's made them read the Bible and the Quran and the Old Testament, and probably introduced them to every major world religion, and said, you know, if something affects you, then you can believe in that. Pick one, pick all of them, pick none of them.
But be able to back it up.
Yeah,
Have an argument.
Let's have a discussion about it. Let's talk about it. And he does that with everything. And for me, that's aspirational, because it's non-judgmental.
I mean, if we want our politicians to be able to explain themselves and their ideas, then we have to be able to explain our ideas, you know?
Based on fact. Let's talk about facts.